Salam and welcome everyone. It's an honor to welcome you to the first ever Los Angeles Persian Tech Network. I'm Sarah Baghi and we've been hosting this amazing event for the past 2 years in the Bay Area. So now we're super excited to finally bring it to this amazing community here in Los Angeles. Our goal today is simple. It's to empower each other, foster collaboration, and bridge our community with the latest in tech, AI, and innovation. We have an amazing lineup planned for you today. Today is all about connecting, learning from experts, and hearing exciting ideas from the startups in our community. This is your network. We are here to help support and grow together. I want to give a special thank you to Agha Rahim, Mohammad Reza, and Omid for all their help in making this event possible. They've worked really hard to plan this today, so we're super excited for it to finally happen. Let's celebrate what we've achieved and keep building a brighter future together. I also want to mention that the good news is that we have an exciting plan to support qualified startups with 6 months of free services, including a co-working space in both Silicon Valley and Los Angeles, access to our network and the Plug and Play network, mentorship, helping with community registration, and legal advice. Don't miss this opportunity. Make sure to register with the QR code that's on the posters, and it will also be on the slide. Thank you so much for being here, and let's make this an unforgettable event. Now I'd like to welcome Mahdi Rafati from the Iranian students of California to the stage.
Hello, everybody. I'm here on behalf of Iranian Students of California, short for ISC, and we are an organization for students. So a couple years ago, just so you have a little bit of background from me, I went to UCLA, and I was president of ISG, Iranian Student Group at UCLA, and me and some of my friends, we came together and decided that students are not really getting what they deserve out of the community that we have. So we came together with this idea to build a nonprofit organization to help students and push them forward in their next steps. So IST, Iranian Students of California, we're an independent registered 501c nonprofit organization. We are run by volunteer alumni and students, and we are funded by donations of alumni and community leaders, and we're dedicated to empowering students. Okay. One of the programs that we're trying to run is ISC PAL program. PAL stands for Persian Alumni Leaders. We're trying to connect passionate alumni to dedicated students and recent graduates advancing their professional aspirations. IST recruits and enables passionate alumni who wants to support prospective, current and recent students in whatever they want to achieve. And we also host in-person and virtual events, helping them, creating a platform for them to connect to each other and build that network that can take them to the next steps. There are multiple ways that we try to do that within our PAL program that I would like to invite you guys to join us if you can help in any way. One is through in-person networking events. We have small or large gatherings in different universities across California. We have students from Stanford, from UCLA, UC Berkeley, USC that are coming together, and our board members and our alumni network is including all of those universities, the top universities in California. We have currently 24 different campus organizations that we work with, and we're trying to expand that and make it better and better. We have bi-monthly or quarterly organized events that are run by local volunteers. We have virtual sessions. Sometimes we have Zoom webinars that we bring in a big name who made it within the Persian community, anyone from tech, from medical, from any industry, from anywhere from Pejman Nozad to Dr. Ardehali from UCLA, and you name it. We bring them on and we have these sessions and students can learn from them. They have Q&A sessions one-to-one after with them, and they can learn from all of these different individuals who made it within their network. And we also have offline contact programs that we connect the PALs to students who want to recruit themselves within this program, or they want to use their connections to become a better person within their industry as well. There are ways that you can help this program if you want. You can become a PAL, you can join the volunteering team that's running the organization and running the program, or you can become a student advocate. Becoming a PAL is basically you're an alumni who graduated from any of the universities in California, and now you're working within your field, whether it's tech, medical, law, whatever it is. You can become that advisor that can help the next generation and build that moving forward. If you're not interested in becoming a PAL or you're still a student, you can join us as the volunteer that is going to be running and helping us build all of these programs and platforms for those students. And if you're not willing to volunteer or you don't have the time for that as well, you can just become a student advocate. If you're in any of the schools that I mentioned or any other school, USC, UCLA, any school around this area, if you want to become a student advocate, you can help us build these programs and share the expertise and experience that you have within your campus so we can make our programs better and better. That's pretty much it. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mahdi John. It is now my pleasure to introduce Aiden, who will be speaking from the University of Southern California's Persian Student Organization. Please join me in giving him a warm welcome to the stage.
Hello, my name is Aiden. I'm with the board of USC's PSO, that's Persian Student Organization. I'm here to talk a little bit about PSO and its values and mission. So PSO, the Persian Student Organization, is an organization for both undergrad and graduate students at USC. And what we do is we collect everyone together and we do host weekly chai chats in which we just get everyone together, people from all different disciplines, but who are united by being Persian or being interested in Persian culture. And we drink chai, as you know. And in the past few years, because of Taramoj Tahadzadeh, our wonderful president who unfortunately couldn't make it today, we've expanded massively. So now we're not only a social club, but we also have many professional events in which we invite Persian leaders in industries like medicine, like law, like business, or technology to come and speak with us. And I think that this is very important to what it means to be Persian, because I did ask around before the speech what it means to be Persian, and what I got was a lot of different responses. So first I asked my postdoc in my research lab, and he was like, well, Persians are, what it means to be Persian is to have a white BMW and wear an excessive amount of Dior Sauvage. And while that is absolutely true, I do love Dior Sauvage, there's a lot more to what it means to be Persian. So I asked my organic chemistry professor, and he said that he hasn't met any students who are as hardworking as Persians, who are as humble as students. I asked another professor, and she said that there's no one who has a community like the Persians have community. I asked one of my Persian friends, and he says that whenever his dad goes to a kebab restaurant, he always recognizes someone as the person who used to sit in the back of the bus with him in Iran going to school, or their former neighbors 30 years ago when they first came here. I'm sure we all have that experience with our parents or ourselves who remember people from so long ago. So what it really means to be Persian is to have a family. Being Persian is not just an ethnicity, it's a community, really. And there's nothing really more important than family. Archaeologists, when they want to, one of the theories of when civilization began is when they first found the first specimen of a human with a healed femur bone. Now, what's so important about a healed femur bone is that for any other animal, when you break your femur, which is the leg right here, that means pretty much death. That's a death sentence, because that means you can't go forage for food or hunt for food, so you're going to starve to death. But what's unique about humans is that that specimen who broke his leg had a family, had a community to support him, so he didn't die. He lived long enough to have that leg heal. So ultimately, what it means to be human is to be Persian, is to have this massive community that we have here right now. And so that really brings me to what Iran is. And it's not just across the Atlantic Ocean. Iran is in England. Iran is in Germany, is in New York, is in Los Angeles, especially in Tehran. But Iran is really not a country, but a people. It's one massive family, and we're so appreciative of that at PSO USC. Ultimately, there's this line I borrowed from Game of Thrones, and I'm sure we have a lot of Game of Thrones fans. The composer for Game of Thrones, Ramin Djawadi, yes, I see you. Ramin Djawadi was Persian himself, so a lot of Persian representation there. But I adjusted it to fit Iran, of course. But the lone lion dies, but the pride survives. So I'm so thankful to have you guys all here, to have all of you working together. I'm so proud to call myself a Persian along with PSO. That's really what PSO strives to do, is to create one big family. So thank you all for keeping Iran alive.
Thank you so much, Aiden. And finally, I'd like to welcome آقای امیر آقایی on stage to speak about OCPC. Please give him a warm welcome.
Hello, everybody. My name is Amir Aghai. I'm founder of OCPC and OCPC Marketing. Before I start, I want to introduce a gentleman here. We're all here because of him. He's always behind the screen. Nobody sees him, but I had the honor to work with him. And it's because of him that we're here today. Everyone, please, let's have a round of applause for Mr. Rahim Amidi, the founder of Amidi Group. All right, so my slides have nothing to do with what I'm saying, so I'm not going to use them. I know you guys are getting a lot of vitamin D, so I'm going to make it short. I'm the founder of OCPC. We do a lot of Persian events, festivals, concerts across the world. But what actually started OCPC was OCPC Marketing. We're all by heart digital marketing specialists, and we use those skills to do the Persian events and other activities. So I'm here today with one message, which I think is useful for the startups, business owners, the students that are here. And that comes from hundreds and thousands of business owners, startups, companies that I'm meeting every day. And it's the fact that I want you to focus on the actual positive net dollar amount that goes to your bank account. I think slowly, as the world is getting complicated, we're forgetting about that actual dollar amount. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. They talk about their dreams. They talk about the marketing channels that they want to activate. But after 3 hours of conversation, I don't hear anything about how any of these can translate to more money in their bank account. So I'm just here today to remind you to think about the money that goes to your bank account, and that's what all the successful business owners and entrepreneurs that I meet have in mind when they're making decisions. For that to happen, I think there are 3 factors that are also forgotten. The number one is being realistic. I meet a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs who are just living in their la-la lands. They create a software, they love the software so much that they don't care if the customers actually need this software or if the software is actually valuable for them or not. So step one is to be realistic. Nobody gives a shit if you create a restaurant that you love, but the food is not good. So be realistic. Number 2 is having tools to have visibility into your business. I talk to business owners that are spending anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 per month on their marketing activities, and they have zero visibility into their business. When I say visibility, it means numbers, like how many leads are getting generated, how many of these leads are converting, which salesperson is converting more than the others. So there are tools that help you gain visibility into your business. One of them is called CRM, Customer Relationship Management Software. I recommend Googling CRM after today's networking event and see how CRM can help you. You can do a lot of automations. You can send out automatic emails. It helps with your accounting, reports, and everything. And be very last thing that I want to tell you that I hope helps with your business is actually running numbers. I see a lot of businesses, they have these great concepts, discussions, but they actually don't ever talk about numbers, real numbers. So even if you're a student, you're sitting in front of an employer, think about numbers, because at the end of the day, you want that money to go pay your rent, pay your mortgage. So don't forget that we're living in a capitalist country. It's all about money. So keep your focus there. If you're interested in any digital marketing consultation, support, or help, that's our website, ocpcmarketing.com. There's a QR code. Feel free to talk to us. And thanks for staying here under the sun. Thank you, guys. Couldn't make it any shorter. And this is yours.
Thank you, Amir John. So finally, I want to talk a little bit about Plug and Play, who helped organize this event today. So I don't know how much you know about Plug and Play, but we are the ultimate innovative platform. Plug and Play has its headquarters in Silicon Valley, where we host events like this for networking all the time. Forgot I had the clicker in my hand. Gotta stand closer to it. So to kind of give you a summarization, our innovation platform is made up of 3 sections. We have venture capital, where we invest in over 250 companies a year and co-host with the world's best VCs. We have the accelerator programs, where we run the programs in over 60 locations worldwide. And we have corporate innovation, where we supercharge the innovation of over 570 Fortune corporations and government entities. And کاغذهای من لطفاً جمع کنه. The largest corporation network in the world. So these are some of our corporate partners. We have Walmart, Nissan, Singapore Airlines, Coca-Cola, which we've been all enjoying today. So some familiar faces right here. And we have our university engagements, which you heard from some universities today. In 2023, we reviewed 5,000 university startups, and we had 44 university pitch sessions. Our global reach goes from all the way from here in Los Angeles to Tokyo, so we're all around the world. And in 2023, we accelerated 2,700 startups globally. Here are some of our unicorns that we've invested in the past. You might know these names: PayPal, Dropbox, Honey, Hippo. Some familiar names, and also some of them are actually Iranian, which is very inspiring. And finally, the most important thing, our tech networks. We are very big on community. So we have hosted 18 Persian tech networks monthly in Silicon Valley for the past 2 years. We've had these once a month, and they're just like this. They got to meet people. We got to really connect with the community. We've done the same for the Chinese Tech Network and the Indian Tech Network. We've done 16 so far for the Chinese Tech Network and 10 for the Indian Tech Network. And now, as you're here today in Los Angeles, we're bringing these Tech Network events to you. Hopefully this is the last month, which is this sunny. I think from October it's going to kind of cool down a little bit. But this will be a great place for you guys to come and meet people and connect. And as I mentioned earlier, you can register if you know someone who has a startup, or if you have a startup, you can register here using that QR code, and we will review all of the submissions. I'll leave it on for a second if anyone wants to take a picture of it. It's also on all of the posters. I see some people still taking pictures. And get in touch with us. There are our emails. That's Mohammad Reza, Omid, and me. You can email us your submission. Just introduce yourself or whoever you know, and we will look at it. Now, without further ado, let's introduce our panelists. So please welcome our panelists to the stage. Thank you. So please welcome Alireza Qaemian, Salman Avestim. I can't pronounce these names that well, so I'm just not going to try. Welcome to the stage. Thank you guys for being here today. We're so excited to have you. It's an honor to be sitting up here with you. So I kind of want to start by giving the audience a little introduction. So the first question I'm going to ask all of you is to give an introduction of yourself. Where do you work and what's your background? We can start here.
Sure. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Amir Rahmani. From the academic side, I'm a professor at University of California, Irvine. My background is in computer science and AI, and I'm a professor at the Department of Computer Science, School of Nursing, and Department of Electrical Engineering and CS. We have two different departments at UCI, and my main research these days is actually focusing on health technology, digital health technology, how to apply AI and machine learning and variable computing, mobile computing into the healthcare domain. All right, sorry. I also serve as the co-director of a campus-wide institute at UCI. It's called Institute for Future Health, where we actually focus on promoting health promotion, promoting the concept of P4 health. And that's mostly from the academic side. From the entrepreneurship and kind of business side, I serve as the co-founder of CenterLife, one of the startups that you're gonna hear today having a pitch. I also serve as board members in a few startups in the Bay Area, most of them focusing on designing wearable sensors for continuous monitoring of vital signs like blood pressure and so on, and also consultants. And also as my other activities, I serve as study in study sections for different federal agencies like NIH, NSF, DOD. If you guys are planning to go for SBIR, SATR grants, I have some experience there, and I can hopefully help you. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Alireza Gamian. I have extensive tech background, starting from mechanical engineering, going to software development and database design back in Iran. Then I moved to finance and strategy, getting a couple of degrees from Sharif University, UCLA, USC, completely switched to the business side. I'm the CEO of a company called Levity Live. Levity Live is the owner of the legendary improv comedy brand. We have all the comedy clubs of improv across the country. Our company does TV production and talent management. It's the largest chain of comedy clubs in the world. And I think we book more comedy talent than anyone ever. And on the side, I also started co-hosting a startup company. It's a marketplace exchange for sponsorship and naming rights. It's a type of a concept that you cannot start it by only just having the idea. You need to have amazing partners. We're partnered up with a couple of most famous talent agencies and sponsorship agencies in Los Angeles, large partners like AEG and a lot of companies. Then in the next couple of months, we would have our first products coming out.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Elham Moore. Thank you for the invitation, and this is the first time that I'm on a panel with my husband, so it's pretty exciting. So my background is civil engineering, structural engineering. I got my undergrad from Sharif University, master's and PhD from UCLA and USC. I have worked at Fortune 500, Fortune 200, some medium size, some small size, and the largest size companies in the world. One of them was actually in the neighboring building here when I worked on a Disneyland project, the Star Wars Land project. If you've been to Disneyland Star Wars, that was my stomping ground for a few years. However, I have pivoted a little bit, or maybe a lot. I've been involved with a nonprofit organization since 12 years ago as a volunteer, Keep Children in School, KCIS. And I have joined the board in 2018, became the chairman in 2019, and I became the president and CEO in 2021. The organization has been running for 25 years. It started with supporting the education of underprivileged children who could not afford going to school and would drop out of school to provide for their families. And that is how it started organically 25 years ago. And it started growing, and it got to a place that today, under different programs, we support more than about 10,000 students annually. And the reason to be able to do that is that we were able to leverage technology to expand our reach, bring it to our project, not only teaching technology, AI, web design, coding to our students, but leveraging it so that we can have a device with an app where there is no teacher, maybe where there's no school, and the kids can play with it with a play-based application and intuitive learning. They can learn how to read and write, because ultimately our goal is to eradicate illiteracy in the world and empowering and elevating the students that we support. And maybe in the panel I will talk more about this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Actually, my last name looks difficult. It's not. I'm Salman. Sure, Avestomer. Yeah, it's very Persian. So
Yes.
it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Salman Avestimer. Maybe a bit of background. I'm professor at USC, working in computer science, electrical engineering. Generally speaking, my area is machine learning and AI. All of us work on that. More specifically, I focus on distributed systems, federated learning, and information theory. I'm directing USC Amazon Center on Trustworthy AI. That's a larger scale research center that we have together with Amazon, thinking about trustworthiness in AI. When can you trust it? How can you use it? How should enterprises bring it to education? Those are the topics we work on. I'm also a co-founder and CEO of Tensor Opera AI. That's a startup that we work on. What we do is your Gen AI platform at a scale is like providing Gen AI services similar to AWS and AWS Bedrock, that you can go get model, get Gen AI services there. We also give you Gen AI services, but the differences are quite a few. For example, for us, instead of Bedrock that is running on AWS cloud, Tensor Opera can run on any cloud. For example, you want to use GPUs from CoreWeave, DigitalOcean, other providers that are much cheaper. We are the platform that you can use for launching your Gen AI on those clouds. We also do it on-premise. For example, many large enterprises want to build AI privately, confidentially. Our platform could be launched anywhere on the premise, on the private cloud. And finally, I think in the next year, we are going to see a lot of Gen AI, which is going to be on your phones, right, privately, securely, but hybrid to the cloud for larger models. We are going to be the only platform as of now offering that. So those are the activities we do.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Oh, okay. No. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, on my voice specifically. Okay. Hello all. My name is Merzad Sajjadi, also known as the Sayed of California. Thank you all for being here and risking skin cancer. I appreciate that. Amazing audience, and thank you, Plug and Play, for organizing this. By the way of background, I was born in Tehran, raised there, got into programming early on, creating silly games in Flash, an action script, which does not exist anymore. I got into robotics through this thing called Khwarazmi Festival, and when I was 15, I was lucky enough to win the first prize of that award, and that was really what got me into AI and robotics. That was also the same time that Green Movement had started in Iran around 2009. So I left and moved to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, lived there for about 2 years before coming here to the US. And after coming to the US, I did a good amount of graduate work and research at Caltech, California Institute of Technology, and USC in cognitive architecture labs and machine learning. Then I worked as a data scientist at Electronic Arts, EA, for those of you who play FIFA or Madden. I was on the team that got kids addicted to games, so that was the main objective, using AI to predict churn effectively. And then 2017, I joined NASA at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, 20 minutes northeast of here. And at JPL, I worked on Mars rover mission and Europa Clipper, which is scheduled to be launched on October 10th if the rocket doesn't explode. And 2019, I spinned out Enflux, my current company, out of NASA. And our first customer was NASA. And what they needed was an AI system that would assist astronauts in complex procedures. So if astronauts are performing a maintenance procedure, a repair procedure, or even medical, the AI, through the lens of camera, would see and understand what the astronaut's doing, and it would assist them in real time, step by step. If you've seen 2001 Space Odyssey, imagine a less creepy version of HAL 9000. So we started that company in 2019, raised some capital from USC, Amazon, Plug and Play, and through pre-seed, seed, Series A. And over the past 5 years, we've been going through the roller coaster of startups.
Hi, thank you, Sarah, for organizing and moderating the panel. I'm going to break a little bit from the style of going through my CV. I've learned from my colleagues in humanities and social sciences that for panels that are this broad, it's maybe more of interest of the audience to think about the context of my past, who am I at this point, what keeps me awake, and sort of thinking about the future and what aspires me. And I think that does a better job than looking at my CV. I'm a professor. I think everybody can look at my Google page and get the rest. So here I want to talk about, in terms of context, I grew up in Tehran, went to Sharif University, but really for me, when I came to University of Michigan, where I did my grad school, I sort of saw a different way of thinking about technology, which was very Midwestern in some sense. So in this small college town as a graduate student, I could see this very private, very introverted process of taking really conceptual, abstract, even maybe mathematical formulation of a problem, and then you try to come up with an academic solution for it. And then what I noticed, and this part was what really struck me about being a part of the university in the US, was that then you find alignment with the current trends in technology and try to translate that academic problem into a technology, and then think about the scale of the impact as how you can really impact society and humanities at large. So in this context, I started my career almost 20 years ago in the American university systems, really thinking for the longest time, a majority of my time at UCSD, thinking about the process of optimizing data collection, in particular how you can translate data to information, and then from the information to actionable information and timely information. So I've been working in that space, in that more academic setting. And currently, what keeps me awake is the startup that I've co-founded with Seper Bigdeli next to me, where we really are looking. It's a very particularly exciting time for folks who have worked on information and AI. This is the time that various technology trends are lining up, and I'm really looking forward to how to take that academic solution that we know and really line it up with the successful trends in technology, to really think about another problem that I learned and got obsessed with in Michigan through student activists, was the problem of what the concern that I've come to, which is humanity at large. We have grown our technologies way out of proportion to our awareness of how these technologies are impacting the planet. This could be, sometimes even avoidable ways that so I think of it as the sort of big cow in the china shop. And this is the technology that I'm really hoping that we can really introduce to really control our awareness of how our technology is affecting our planet. So.
Thank you, Tarajan. I wish I could follow that. but I'm going to go back to CV. Yeah. Not everyone can afford to take your strategy. So I was born in England in an academic family. We were always just conversations about new technologies, trends, how to fix things. I was very interested in fixing things. My mother has a different narrative. She thinks I always broke things, then fixed things, but that's just my narrative. So early education was there, and then I moved to Iran, and I was introduced to programming and computer science in middle school. And then yet I moved on to mechanical engineering. My initial work, professional career started in car manufacturing and the whole, Iran Khodro, most of you guys, I was doing architecture, software architecture for enterprise applications, supply chain. I was very young, it was very fun. Then I moved to, founded the fourth largest internet provider in Iran. We were the largest internet and voice provider in Iran. And fast forward, moved back to England to do my master's in business. And then in 2007, I moved to the US, joined an electronic supply chain company where I worked 12 years serving as CTO and COO and CFO and sold that company to a private equity. Throughout the years, I've done startups and re-engineering firms, and through that acquisition and 12 years of operating big supply chain issues, I encountered some problems with monitoring our assets, especially in the warehouses themselves. And then I met Tara and started Solar Technology that is focused on monitoring of large assets with the latest technology, which is physical attention, and how we can be more efficient in watching large assets and monitoring large assets.
Thank you everyone for sharing a little bit about your background. I think to make it easier, we're just going to start from you, Seferjan, with your first question. So you'll be there. Good seat to pick. Can you tell the crowd about physical attention and the pros and cons of it, and how Soter AI is planning on facilitating it?
So just imagine like the S&P 500. If you look at their mechanical assets, they have around $10 trillion of mechanical assets. If you want to add, structural asset, that's going to even be much larger. The problem we're having is monitoring these assets. We're not doing a good job of monitoring our assets. It's either we're not collecting the right amount of information or the relevant information, and sometimes we are too slow to react. So because of this, you end up putting your assets at risk or your planet at risk. And in the case of an oil rig or a tanker or a refinery, if you're missing critical information, you're basically endangering the planet, the cost of cleanups and all that stuff. And we've been very good at building so far and getting very good at building models that they can learn from the digital environment or the assets that have already been digitalized. But we need to kind of think differently. We need to think about the systems that can interact with the real world and then adapt, because the real world it has a lot more data, and it's way more, there's so much uncertainty in the real world. So that's basically physical attention is all about. It's a cross-section of AI, robotic, where you have models that can learn and adapt to environment. Okay, sorry, it's tested. So that's what physical attention is all about. It's a cross-section of robotics, and models that can interact and be more adaptive to more uncertainty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so maybe we'll just go this way with Salman John. Since I messed up your last name earlier, I'll let you go second on this side. So you started Tensor Opera before the AI revolution, before the Gen AI revolution. What has been its impact on both your company and its research?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I think it impacted both company, my research lab. Like, I think ChatGPT was a big movement. In a sense, certain things we didn't know is possible, all of a sudden were possible. But maybe more specifically, the way I view it is before ChatGPT, the bottleneck in AI was data. Whoever had more data had better AI. Right? A lot of the companies we hear is like, bring your data, build the best AI. ChatGPT said, no, there is a big model trained on all the public data. Just build your AI solution on top of this large model. My company before ChatGPT, like Tensor Opera, we work on federated learning, which is like, how would you train models on a lot of private data? Right? That was the topic. Actually, Google is working also on that. We also provide an enterprise service for that. But then it's kind of with the ChatGPT moment, right? As I mentioned, data become less relevant in the past 1 or 2 years. Everybody is looking for more compute and train larger models. So that's how we start positioning, because we are always working on a distributed technology, on how to make compute accessible to everybody, right? Not data, right? So that's where Tensor Opera provides now Gen AI platform that you can access a lot of cloud, a lot of compute. But then the interesting thing that is happening, I predict from next year, data is going to become the bottleneck, right? So you see maybe the gap between open source models, closed source models is narrowing down, right? And all the public data is used for training the models. So now data is becoming more and more important, privacy becoming important. You want to have Gen AI, your private personalized assistants. So I think it's playing very good in our favor as we move to the next phase of Gen AI, that people want private, personalized AI assistants, right? That's where you need powerful models, not just compute, but also accessing a lot of private data to build that. So that's how we try to navigate and figure out where the money is. I think there was a person on the marketing, right? You should think about where the money is when you are building the company and try to position that way, right? Money was NVIDIA, right? Compute. That's where we try to do that.
And the money is definitely in AI right now.
Yeah.
I think that's where everyone knows it's heading that way.
On the research side, I don't know if you want me, I can tell you a little bit there. So research is also very exciting. I know many of the audience here, maybe PhD students, postdocs working on research. I think we are seeing a whole wave of new problems. In my group, maybe we are interested in 3 layers. One is efficiency. Like OpenAI is spending about $1 million a day serving ChatGPT. It's huge money. Right? So, and everybody is doing it, all these models. So we work a lot on building efficient architectures, efficient mechanisms for serving the models, training the models. Next layer that we work on is on the trustworthiness, right? So it's very important, I think, as we go to the next phases of using maybe GPT-4 to train GPT-5. And I think that's what everybody is getting maybe excited or scared that AGI is coming, because they produce a lot of data that they can feed to train the next model. But you need a missing piece, which is automated uncertainty assessment. The human in the loop mechanism of, let's say, reinforcement learning from human feedback is not scalable to the way that we want to have GPT-5, GPT-6, etc. We work on how would we assess uncertainty in the outcome of Gen AI models. And the third layer we work on is on the application. That's difficult in academia if you work on applications that are a lot of data is in the industry. But for us, we work on maybe AI for circuit design. I think that's one area that academia is leading, right? Most of the papers on better circuits are coming from academia. Of course, industry is coming, but they never publish it. Like Raytheon, Boeing, etc., Qualcomm are not going to publish their circuits. And we are building a new ecosystem of AI-based circuit design. And if anybody is interested, I would be happy to talk to you on any of those.
And so, Tarajan, we know you're the CTO of Sorter AI. Now, can you talk about kind of how you build a deep tech team and how you deploy that technology?
That's a great question. And I think it's one of those questions that if you ask different CTOs, they show sort of their own subjective ways they think about their technology. So for me, it was this end-to-end innovation cycle from the systematic academic ways that we think about data collection process, where we need the attention in some sense, in the physical attention that Sam explained. And then I wanted a team that sort of understand that systematic, but then they can complement and bring to the table this sort of alignment with the current technology and sort of build a team that sort of fill the gaps of each other, but ultimately believe in the sort of an end-to-end goal of, really providing a sort of a physical awareness, physical attention of what the big scale monitoring systems require. So for me, it was a mixture of sharing that bigger vision, but also seeing excitement in themselves to say, oh, I can, sort of contribute in this role and in that. That's been the sort of motto of what we have gone with building our team.
I think that's very important in any team building, is that you find team members who are excited as.
Thank you.
All right, and Hamju, we're going to go this way. I would like strategic CEO of a nonprofit organization. What kind of challenges do you face?
So KCIS was organically started about 25 years ago, and when it got to about 70, 80 students that it was under support, the founder, who passed away last year, Gila Kashef, gathered a group, including Dr. Firuza Nadari, who we also lost last year, to form the first board of directors for KCIS. And they laid a strong foundation for the organization to grow. And they laid a strong foundation for the types of services we provide. So the services, what distinguishes us from other nonprofit organizations is that we don't give them a fish, we teach the students how to fish so that they can survive. And with other nonprofit organizations who work in the field of education, the difference that we have with them is that we don't give the students a handout. It is a 360-degree view we have on education. It's a very deep level of involvement with social workers and workshops and mentoring so that the students get what they lack at home, financially and otherwise. But just like any other organization, and very similar to the startups, KCIS got to a point where, again, many startups get to, where the CEO or the board or the team realize that at this inflection point, you need to bring a strategic CEO to take it to the next level, because it takes a different set of skills to bring something to life and bring it from 0 to 1. And it takes a whole different set of skills to take it from 1 to 100. And KCIS is the only nonprofit organization that I know in the Persian community that has actually handed over the running of the organization to the next generation. And it happened in 2021 when I became the president and CEO. So I'm very proud to be a part of this organization because it is very unique and it really practices the values that it preaches. And the challenges that we have is when we are in the metamorphosis phase and when we are in a changing world, especially with technology and AI, how do you keep the depth of the services that you're offering, but try to get out of the mom and pop shop mindset into getting AI, getting technology to optimize your processes here as you operate the organization, which has been an ongoing effort at KCIS, as well as how do we now equip the next generation to be able to use these tools, technology, AI, and how can we not only teach them these skill sets, which we do. We have tech centers, and we in the most remote areas in the country, where we open doors and we unveil capabilities in the students that they didn't even know existed. They didn't even know they liked coding because they had never seen a computer. So that is one aspect of that. But actually using it in the projects that we use, and our digital literacy application, which was an award-winning application at an X Prize competition. Jointly, it won the first prize for $15 million. I'm sure all of you are familiar with X Prize, one of Elon Musk's initiatives. And we decided to localize and translate that app and get it in the hands of the most underserved and the most underprivileged communities in the country. And we continue to strive to do that. And that is both challenging and very exciting.
It's so important to see it, especially in the Persian community.
Thank you. And I have to thank Plug and Play because our very first event, Mix and Mingle, in April, was held at the Plug and Play venue in Sunnyvale. So Plug and Play is becoming a second home.
I saw you on the cover of the Los Angeles Business Journal. Yes, congratulations. That's incredible.
Thank you.
So I would want to ask you, we read in the journal that your tech is looking to amplify and not replace employees, right? So could you please tell us kind of about that, about the current state of AI, how it's shaping industries today, and its future direction?
Okay, I'll try to unpack that in the most effective way. In terms of AI, I'll start with the positive side. I guess a lot of us have experienced ChatGPT or anything that's equivalent, and really the value is in the productivity gain that we all get from that, right? That is, instead of typing 3 paragraphs for your email, you just put 3 points and then you get that. So something that you could do in 10 minutes turns into 1 minute. Or you want to do a sensitivity analysis, you just ask GPT or Perplexity or any of the other things, and it provides that to you. So I think that's on the positive side. And then historically, we know from the economical standpoint, productivity gain means GDP gain. GDP gain means prosperity for everyone. So if you look at previous technological revolutions, that's the pattern that we see. So that's on the upside. And then I'm not even talking about the drug discovery and the AlphaFold, which can predict protein folding given a sequence of amino acid, and that effectively shortens the drug discovery cycle from 5 years to 2 years. So many things on the upside, but I think we all have seen those, and we're very excited about it. On the, let's say, dark side / gray, first of all, there's been about $700 billion, this was the latest report that came from Goldman Sachs, that's been invested into AI, whether GPUs from NVIDIA or other infrastructure expenditure. And there's still no return. And that's a big problem, because with any investment, there needs to be a return. So I don't want to be dystopian by any means, but I do think there are concerns relevant to the ROI of this investment. So right now, all the infrastructure players are making investment because this is too big to lose, not because there's ROI. So Meta is making the investment because they want to make sure that they're not losing to Amazon. Amazon's making the investment because they want to make sure they're not losing to OpenAI. But ultimately, the ROI gain isn't clear yet. And again, I don't want to say it's not there, but it takes a while for it to trickle through the system. So that's one on the dark side. And then on the other one that I think is a real problem is we got to figure out this whole transition period about unemployment and AI, let's say, augmenting us or AI taking jobs. I am somewhat concerned about autonomous cars because that is a relevantly big part of our economy. So if all the taxi drivers, Uber drivers, DoorDash, and everyone, if that part of the economy loses their jobs, will they find other jobs? Historically, we know the answer is yes. 100 years ago, 98% of the population was in agriculture. Right now, it's less than 2%. So historically, we've solved that problem, but I think the way of solving it is addressing it and acknowledging it in forums like this. So that's the other concern that I would add to the dark side of that equation.
Thank you so much. So, I kind of want to ask you a similar question as Elham June, but I know it's different types of organizations. So as a CEO of an of a company yourself, what are the hardest decisions that you've made?
Well, before going to the question, I have to acknowledge something, that you not only have a very amazing group of talented people on this stage, we have the most amazing shoes I've ever seen in my life on this stage. Then I encourage you guys, if you don't have questions for the panel, go to Sayed John. Those shoes are incredible. Just watching those, it's amazing. Taras are amazing, but this is next gen. This is AI probably designed shoes. Then going back to your question, no, I've had the opportunity to work for and manage startups all the way to mid-sized and very large organizations, both in Iran and the US. And someone who has that experience, of course, every organization deals with many challenging situations. Hey, what's my short-term, mid-term, long-term strategies? Hey, how do I design the product? What's the definition of my MVP, which, by the way, is one of my biggest problems. I always fall in love with my vision of the ultimate product 20 years from now, and I forget what I need to do today. Those are challenges all organizations face. But to me, the universal truth, working in a different work environment in Iran and also in the US, it always goes back to the team. If I want to go back to every successful experience I've had, it's only because I had the right team, and every time I failed, I had the wrong team. Then for me, the most important and also the most challenging thing in every engagement I have in any organization is how do I build the right team for the type of vision that organization needs. On one end, hiring people, finding the right group of people is very important. Creating the right culture when you hire people is a complete different level of complexity depending on who you're bringing on board, what the visions are for the future of the company. That's very challenging. And at times, I've had, unfortunately, experiences like we had an operation with 2,400 employees, and one day, based on the analysis I did at the time as a CFO, we had to go to 1,800. And now you need to go through a process to impact the lives of hundreds of people. Then to go to your question, what's the most challenging to me? Always any decision that impacts my team and the people around me, those are the most challenging ones, starting from who to hire, how to create the culture, and how to support the organization through that. And unfortunately, there are times that we use euphemism and say right sizing. That's a good way to say layoffs or firing, but ultimately it impacts the lives of many people. That brings me to the responsibility we all have as leaders of these organizations, the decisions we make impacts the lives of many people, directly and indirectly, and those types of decisions are usually the most challenging for me.
Finding the right team is actually very important, which I guess is good that we have networking events like this.
Well, let me do it for you, actually, because when we moved to the U.S. 17 years ago, and one of the major challenges we faced was Persian community is a very supportive community, but we do not have enough events of this sort that you have a group of professionals under the leadership of someone like Rahim John and Sayed John and you guys. And I would really want to thank you guys. And again, going back to Rahim and Sayed and Plug and Play team, it's incredibly important to have these types of events. And it's our responsibility too to support Rahim, Sayed, Plug and Play, and everyone. These events are just not plug and play events. These are events for the entire community and exceptionally important, especially for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Amidi, last but not least for first round of questions. So we know you're a professor, entrepreneur, and you are in healthcare. You're doing a lot. So could you please share a story where your work has made a tangible impact on patients' lives or healthcare outcomes?
All right, so a few things can come to my mind. For example, we did studies. I think we were the first group who really looked at the notion of COVID long haulers. At that time, when COVID started, we had access to all the UC EHR data, 6 hospitals, and there were a lot of skepticism around whether something like long haul exists or not. So what we did, we started actually looking at data. We accessed, at that time, like hundreds and thousands of data from those patients, and really see how, in a longitudinal way, to see if someone ends up having long COVID or not, if that's something real or not. I remember at that time, Even Chris Como in his BBC show talked about our work. We received a lot of visibility. But I don't want to bore you with some of the achievements that we had in that side. I wanted to maybe, one of my favorite things is, which also has definitely a lot of commercial value, is the this notion of personal health navigation that we started to champion at our center at UCI. And we actually also turned that into a standard, working with ISO and HL7. Now there are actually two standards in progress. If you Google PHN, Personal Health Navigation, they're about actually how we're gonna bring together different technologies, ranging from remote sensing or ubiquitous computing all the way to AI and digital therapeutics, to build navigational systems to healthcare. And why do we use this notion of health navigation? Actually, that was inspired by how navigation entered our life using GPS and in driving, right? So maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we had to move from point A to B. We had to maybe search or look at the map and try to kind of receive or come up with some instructions how to reach our destination. But something that GPS did about 10, 15 years ago was revealing our current state in a continuous way to us. So at every moment we knew where we are, and that helped us by knowing where we are currently, knowing our current state, which is to me magical, and also knowing your destination. Now you can receive step-by-step recommendations to reach your goal. In healthcare, that can be maybe, you have type 2 diabetes and your goal is to, for example, manage that. So you want step-by-step, and for each step of recommendations, you want your current state to be known to that AI model, to that human in the loop, to that clinician. So the idea of personal health navigation actually came out of our center. And as I said, now it's an ISO standard. And I encourage people to look at that, because that can be applied to many, many different types of research or products. We had this startup using it called DiaNavi, or diabetic navigation. They use it for managing diabetes. And one thing that is very critical that we also championed was this notion of personal models. When you use Netflix, when you use YouTube, when you use Amazon, the day you create an account, they create a personal model of you. And starting that day, any click you make, any product you buy, any movie you watch, they keep updating that personal model, right? So the idea is that why don't we have such a thing for healthcare? Why shouldn't we have a personal model of someone, from any data holistically, like from their EHR, wearables, like anything that they use to really understand their current state and being able to provide them with step-by-step navigation. So I encourage you guys to look at the standards. That's something that we are very proud of, and I think can have a lot of impact to society and also to economics.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, who has the microphone over there? It's hiding. Okay, let's go back and actually start with Sam again, because there's no other way to do the order for round 2. So Sam John, or Seher John, how do you find your customer acquisition, and what's the strategy you have chosen?
Very good question. Customer acquisition. From a startup perspective, in the beginning, you're always kind of navigating. You're trying to adjust yourself to the needs of your target audience. I think you should. Let me go back. Technology is like a tool. So the need for cutting trees, has been since the beginning of dawn. It's just the tools are changing. So you need to always look and see the current technology, try to balance this. What technology can do for who and what, and how it can add value to that industry. So in the beginning, I start doing a lot of research. Just be realistic, and also look at the technology trends, where if we're in an era that every day some new paper comes out, some new technology is rolled out. you got to really balance it out and make sure there's no perfect formula for it, but the goal is to start with a need and see how you can bring those tools and do kind of a crawl, walk, run, kind of fly scenario, where in the beginning you might be driving your taxis like Waymo in San Francisco, and then you start, as you're training your models, you start, having a driver, but it's just sitting there, just watching, and then you move to a scenario when you remove the driver, assisted system. So you're never going to have a perfect product. You're always going to be plus minus a percentage off, but find a problem, find the right tools, build the right product, and it's never 100%. The focus is the customer, what the customer needs, what the customer wants, even if that means that you're not going to be deploying, the latest and greatest, but solve that problem like Amazon did. And then, nobody thinks of Amazon, as a book-selling company,
No, absolutely. And I know it's hot, everybody, and we're out here, but we have an incredible group of panelists, so if we could just keep it down a little bit so that we could hear what they're saying, and I promise it'll be insightful. And take a seat, please. Okay, so let's take it back to Salmonja. I loved hearing about, the impact on your company and the research, but I would like to know some new research topics you're working on these days.
Sure, I think I mentioned some of them before, but maybe I can mention a little bit longer term, visions that we have in our research group. Like, I'm obsessed by AGI in general coming, but maybe AI, training AI. I think that's what we are seeing happening. Meaning that, again, if we have human in the loop for training AI, is going to be slow, right? But what we are seeing is the acceleration of data generation and using that for training the next AI. So I think there is a lot of interesting problems that you can think about that. Like we were talking to Tara earlier. Like, how long can this ecosystem go? You build the feedback in the loop, right? There is an AI, keeps generating the quality data for training new AI. Where are we going to end, right? What type of AI are we going to get? So that's a longer term maybe question. We are not ready to answer that now. That's a very difficult question. But a stepping stone, as I mentioned, we are very interested to know the quality of the data that is generated by AI. How much can you trust it? What is going to be the uncertainty in the model? Because then you can use that to build a credible feedback loop to build better AI. So a part of my group, we are very excited on that direction. The other one is, thinking about, I think, for cloud-based Gen AI, right? Companies are very well suited. That's, for example, our company is doing that. All the hyperscalers are doing that. I see a lot of opportunity in research for Gen AI on the phone. That's the part that we hear much less about it. I think it's going to be very important, right? We want it private, we want it personal, right? OpenAI doesn't want it. They want it cloud-based, they want it their model, right?
دوستانی که اونجان اگه تشریف بیارید این ور بشینید که صدا برسه ممنون میشم. اگر میخواید صحبت کنید اون بالا یا این سمت پایین. اگر میخواید بفهمید بشین. ممنون.
ولی چه هوای خوبی داریم امروزا.
یا.
به من قول دادن اگه من این بالا جوک بگم یکی بخند. حداقل مامانم داره میخنده. خب ببخشید ادامه بدید.
خواهش میکنم. Yeah, so I think on the device, on the phone, that's one area I see maybe less push from the industry, and maybe we are very well positioned in academia and research community to lead that. For example, for that one, we recently built our own foundation model. It's called TensorOpera Fox 1. It's in the top 3 small language models. These are the models that are well suited for the phone, outperforming Google's Gemma 2 billion parameter model. Apple has OpenELM. Right, these are the scenarios I feel research community can pioneer right? Come up with the best models that are well suited, as opposed to, let's say, we are going to compete with Meta to build a better llama model. That's maybe it's not possible today to do it in research, but on the phone and small language models, we can do it. Another area is, I think, multimodal models, like vision language models. We all saw Llama 3.2 coming, right? ChatGPT, of course, has a lot of vision language models. They are, like, although GPT-4 is great, the vision language models are terrible. I don't know if you have tried them. They fail on very basic tasks. And that's a very good opportunity. Like, think about if you want to have vision language, which is really a good source of data generation, good source of applications, they fail miserably, right? So that's a great area to work on. What is going to be the right architectures to mix language and vision. Right now it's very primitive. You just convert them to token and you combine them together with the hope of something working out, right? But there is no basis for that. I feel that's another area that there is room for innovative thinking and doing something amazing.
Definitely room for improvement. Thank you so much. Okay, Karajan, let's make the second round of questions a little faster so we can wrap up and get some food.
Okay.
All right, Karajan, second question. What advice do you have for people in your shoes?
Okay, it's the third question.
Third question was an introduction, so it doesn't count.
That's true. So actually, it seems like an easy question, but the personality I am, it's one of the hardest things for me to do. For those who know me, and some are in the audience, I'm actually good in brainstorming with people and finding solution to their problems, but I'm not very comfortable giving general advice. I feel like maybe that's my imposter syndrome kicking in. So, but I don't want to cop out. So I would say the general advice I have for me has been to go back to that moment where this, for me, has been looking at this academic problem and that joy of discovery that I can do something that I didn't know I could do even myself 6 months ago, and maybe other people do not know. So that's like the point. Find a point of strength that you come back to. And I think if you have that kind of internal strength giving you the sort of a way to go, the rest seems a lot more, less effort.
That's a good perspective. Thank you. Next for KCIS.
So our goal has never been to grow in quantity but quality. However, because of technology, AI, and the power that it gave us to optimize, and I am a massive optimizer, we were able to grow a lot. So 10,000 students a year is not a small number. But we didn't grow because we just wanted to grow the numbers. We improved the quality, and we use the technology and the tools available. All of the tools that we use are free, but it optimized it a lot. And actually, you were saying about eliminating jobs. We were going to hire someone at our office, but because of the technology, we were able to offload all of that to AI and other tools so that we didn't hire that person. So I don't know if to feel good about it from KCIS perspective, but maybe on a social side. But it is just to connect the dots. Who knows that at one of our tech centers, maybe one of the students will come up with an idea that will be pitched to someone at Plug and Play, and in 10 years they will be sitting on this panel and speaking. But what next is also global growth. We have started it with a project is India, and that is going to be another initiative that we will follow to grow globally and keep all children in school.
Early hires and evolving the team structure as the company grows.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot that can be talked about there, but I know I'm one of the last things between you all and food, so I'll try to make it concise. For co-founders, I think there needs to be at least 1 year of working relationship before they start a company. It's almost like dating someone before having a baby. And you just don't go and meet someone somewhere and have a baby tomorrow. But I've heard that scenario with a lot of co-founders, which is just attended this networking event and met my co-founder, and we're incorporating the company tomorrow. In my view, and I might be a bit biased, I don't think that's the right way of going about it. So I think there needs to be at least 1 year of working relationship, whether that's in classes, whether that's a company. And the reason for that is startups are always like roller coasters, right? And the best that you can hope is that the roller coaster is going up and not coming down. But regardless, it is going to be a roller coaster. And when you're at that bottom point, when you hit that point when you need to stay together until 4 a.m. and brainstorm, do all of these things, you want people that are really there with you in the trenches. So that's my thought process on the co-founders. For early employees or founding members, I think one, establishing clear roles and responsibilities, that is very important. I've seen many executives or companies fail simply because they hire someone who has lots of experience, but they don't have a clear responsibility within the organization. So I think that needs to be created and then paired with accountability. I'm a very big fan of either move up or move out, meaning if someone within the organization is at the bottom 10 percentile of the organization performance-wise, their manager and leadership should help them move up next quarter. And if that doesn't happen, it's a disservice to the rest of that organization to keep that person around. So I think that brings in a culture of accountability that would move an organization forward.
Okay, my next question is for Ali Reza. What is your advice to people just starting out?
Well, following Tarajan's point, I give you an advice I give to myself. Then whatever is worth for everyone else is good for you. Take it. And organizations deal with different levels of complexity. In our startup, for example, we are right now dealing with a very complex Series B. Just a lot of stress, a lot of challenges are facing in any organization, especially as entrepreneurs. We all know how that works. It requires a level of intensity and focus from the leaders to deal with those challenges and overcome the problems on behalf of the company and with the company. There are many times that it seems justifiable to transfer that intensity into our dealings with our partners and people around us. Then my advice to myself always is be as intense as you can be, as focused as you can be in dealings with problems, but do not translate that into your dealings with the people around you. Be as intense with the problems, be as kind with the people around you. And there are times that it's challenging. We have short days and there's many problems to resolve, but that's my challenge in life, how to separate the intensity, dealing with problems, kindness, dealing with everyone around me.
For our panelists, for Amirjan, what trends do you see shaping the future of digital health technology over the next decade?
Yeah, I kind of touched upon it a little bit when I talked about this idea of personal health navigation, because our institute called Institute for Future Health, so it's all about what's going to happen next. And of course, you need pilot solutions, early adopters, those who show the feasibility of these solutions. So, as I said, I see this synergic integrations of many existing technologies coming together to provide value. For example, we have Gen AI, we have digital therapeutics, we have tons of wearable sensors out there. How we can basically integrate them in a closed loop system to really provide value for continuous tracking, continuous recommendation. Gen AI would be very interesting here to provide, especially we use it in our work as a way to provide, recommendations, the interactive aspect of that, or actually fuse multimodal data. So I see the future going towards this way. And actually, that was actually the reason we got this project a couple of years ago from National Science Foundation to actually build a platform for those who really want to kind of demonstrate and build these such closed loop solutions. And it was around for a couple of years as an academic tool, but recently we actually tried to make it, with the help of our tech transfer at UCI, we tried to make it open and as a commercial product called CentralLive. And the idea is really how to really build closed loop systems. You want to bring your model. You have already built an AI model for diagnostics, maybe for recommendations. You have built a knowledge base, a knowledge graph on something. You have built a lot of other things, or your cool state-of-the-art sensor. How to really kind of build all these things in a synergy to provide value. I think that's what we're going to see hopefully in the next 10 years. I would say, in short, synergistic integration of all these modern technologies.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for sitting underneath the hot sun today. I know,
Loving it.
John, you kind of got cut short a little bit from the noise. I felt bad. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? No?
No, just wanted to thank Rahim and Plug and Play for doing an amazing job, having a great vision. We've been involved with Plug and Play for the past 3 years, and I'd like to, on behalf of our company, and I think everybody here, want to thank them for their passion for the community and the great vision that Rahim has for this community. Thank you, Rahim.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I know it's hot. You guys are facing right underneath the sun. And thank you for all watching underneath the sun. But okay, that's it for our panel. So now we're going to move on to the startups, and we'll say bye to our amazing panelists. Can we get a round of applause for them? San.
Okay, yeah. Who was it who had the entertainment company? Entertainment. Somebody on the panel.
Thank you so much.
This is her favorite.
Thank you.
Let's chat. I'm going to do the raffle real quick, and then let's chat. I'm Sarah.
I'm
Nice
Charles.
to meet you.
I've been Charles the whole time.
Sunny.
Nice to meet you. I'm Kian Zani, guys.
I have to announce something real quick. Okay, so we're going to announce 3 of the raffle winners right now, and we'll do the rest at the end. So if you got a raffle ticket, come here, and we're going to read the numbers.
All right. Let's go for the first winner.
The first raffle winner is
501535 for 2 nights free stay at 1010.
501535 for 2 nights free at 1010. If you got the raffle ticket, come find Afsan and June at the next portion of the event.
Okay. One more time. 501535.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the next raffle ticket winner is
501543.
501543 for 2 nights stay at 1010.
501543.
Find us later. And the last one for now is
501531.
501531 for 2 nights free at 1010. Come find us. Thank you. And now for our startup, I'm going to pass it on to Ryan.
Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. Let me know when I should start. Should I start right now or I should wait a little bit?
برند غذا دیگه اصلا نمیاد. شما شروع کنی همه اومدن. این اصل اینا نشستن. از آقا رحیم هم که
اوکی.
منتظر اونا باشی. بهشون بگو اگه میخواد گوش کنید بیاد. ولی شروع کن. به نظر معطل بمونید.
اوکی. این کار نمیکنه. Hello, everyone. I know it's not the best time to present a presentation, but thank you for your attention. My name is Ryan Alimo, and I'm a co-founder and CEO at OpenAI. Many of you heard about what OpenAI does, but today I'm going to introduce a new version of OpenAI and what we have been doing during the past year. So, how many of you are familiar with this spatial intelligence concept? Oh, I have to point it here. Okay, good. So spatial intelligence is a new generation of AI that allows you to interact with 3D. Many of you are familiar with ChatGPT or other vision language models, but these systems are limited to text or image only. As soon as it comes to real world, we don't see that interactions with how we can communicate or interact with the real world. And we want to bridge that gap through understanding a 3D space in the real world environment. So I'm going to go over two of the examples that we have been working on. And the OpenAI version 1 is a mobile app that you can download it on your smartphone, iPhone, or iPad, and allows you to 3D map any building or a structure. As simple as walking around, creating a 3D model, digital twin, building information model, and then you can get the BIM models from these. So the next step, when you have this digital twin in 3D, we provide like a search engine. So technically you can do like a Google search objects in your environment. And that's very important for insurance and inspector clients that we're working with. Yeah, so here is a demo of what our app did, and you can do it with our app. So you can walk around, create a 3D model in real time. It detects different types of objects, like a furniture or what exists. And you can create a Revit model or AutoCAD model for structural engineering or mechanical or architectural and interior designs. And you can get the 3D model out like a floor plan out of that. But that's not the only thing that we do. After you have these 3D digital twin, the next step is how you can create knowledge or extract knowledge out of these. And some of our clients also in Los Angeles needed to map large spaces. So here is a CVS store that we map just in 2 hours. And usually to create the 3D model, as you see the BIM and the virtual tour, it can take weeks to generate such a thing. But in 2 hours, we were able to get both the 3D model and the virtual tour, which was very satisfactory for our client. I want to thank Plug and Play because we were in the Smart City program last year, and that program changed our direction. So we had one of these industry partners called Shimizu, and they asked us, "Oh, you're doing an very exciting job. Can you build a 3D, like a digital twin or BIM model of maybe a bridge And in the beginning, we thought that that's not a building, and maybe it's different. So we tried to have also human in the loop to build this digital twin or BIM model of the like one of the bridges, and they were very happy and excited about that. And so far, our project was funded by the National Science Foundation. And when we saw this opportunity, we thought that maybe we can build an like digital twin of every infrastructure. And that thought, how can we bring this spatial intelligence to real-world systems? So here is an example of spatial intelligence. Maybe in 2D image, when you see this, you want to make some actions and you want to do something because there is a kid here, there is a spiking, and it requires doing some sort of actions. So until like the plug and play, smart city program, we were working on building digital twin of residential and commercial spaces. And that partnership with Shimizu made us think that maybe we can do something more. Maybe we can create a digital twin of cities or even countries. And thanks to the support of Department of Transportation SBIR program, we won a grant to build digital twin of the cities. So here is our setup that you see. It has a LiDAR and camera, and we can create like a map of different cities. And we are working with the city of Los Angeles to create digital twin of the city and work with the Complete Street Initiative, which is a big deal for any infrastructure improvement. In the city of almost every city in the United States, if you want to make an improvement on the street, you need to comply with Complete Street. For developers like Amidi Group, even when they wanted to build some big infrastructure in one area that affects the traffic, they need to think about the bicycles. They need to think about the pedestrians and different aspects of how it would affect the streets. And city requires them to comply with the Complete Street requirements. However, they don't have enough data or decision-making tools to adapt it to all cities in the United States. So we are bringing that tool using vision language model and this spatial intelligence that we have in combination with LiDAR and RGB scanning that we are doing in the street. For example, understanding the pavement situation of the asphalt. Or here is our decision-making tool that shows the worst streets in terms of the condition or asphalt in the Los Angeles County. And what you need to do, you need to drive around and map this space. And if you're interested to work with us or help us or interested in biking around the city, please contact me. And we are looking for capturing the data all around the city of Los Angeles, especially downtown. So far, I want to conclude that what we have been doing in spatial intelligence, the product one was a mobile app that allows you to map indoor spaces, very well suited for inspectors, insurance, and also construction professionals that we are partnering with several insurance and construction company to create digital twin. And it's a SaaS business and also per use. The second one is this Complete Street Initiative that we are working with the government and with the cities to create a digital twin of the towns and roads. And that would be a subscription model for our work. And so here's me and my co-founder. I have graduated from Sharif University, and I got my PhD at UC San Diego and a postdoc at Caltech and MBA from UCLA Anderson. I co-founded deep learning group at NASA's JPL, where we developed different deep learning technologies for the Mars rover and Mars helicopter. And I was so fortunate to be a mentee of Dr. Naderi, and he was part of our startup too. Right now, unfortunately, he passed away. We have other people from JPL also as our advisory role, and one of them is former deputy director of NASA JPL. And we're working with them to bring not only these solutions to cities, but also to NASA and the robots for the NASA. That would be our next step that we are collaborating with JPL. So if you want, here is my contact information, and we are in LA, and would be happy to chat with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much. Okay, so next I would like to bring Shahram Farhadi to stage to present his startup. شهرام فرهادی.
های سلام، من خیلی خوشحالم که اولین بار در مورد انسنس توی گروه بزرگ با talking to fellow Iranians. Sorry, I forgot we're supposed to speak English here. So I'm happy to introduce Insense AI and basically an attempt to collect more data from the real world. If you think about a lot of aspects of our life, like our health, the industries that serve us, homes, they have gotten smarter and smarter, but then there is large parts of the real world that we call public places that are still not really connected to the internet in a way of continuous monitoring. So why do we need more data from the real world? I think there was some points from the panelists that pretty soon we are going to run out of internet data for training AI models. So there is going to be this hunger for more real world data and more data that people would care about. But I think similar to what Ryan mentioned, there's also the need for smart infrastructure as the country kind of is trying to push through the next version of its infrastructure. Obviously, we need to bring intelligence to this massive expenditure through a robust data layer. I think smart cities has also been promised for a long time, hasn't been realized for many reasons, and we hope to contribute to that. And I think very, very importantly is also the social equity aspect of being able to collect different data in wide ranges on a map. Because when you look at the distribution of measurements, it happens that places that, for example, have lower air quality also have much less measurements. So we hope with the data that NSense is collecting, we can kind of change that game a little bit towards a more just society. And then, one of the big problems when you look at different things, let's say initially, what got me thinking was, hey, wouldn't it be nice if I want to buy a house, I can listen to the audio profile, the noise at different times of the day as opposed to driving there multiple times. But then we very soon realized that we actually don't collect enough about the real world that we all live in and share, especially the public places. And with the data that even is collected, it has been minimally utilized just because of the difficulty and high capital need of AI. But fortunately, that is changing and it's getting easier and easier. So the solution that we are working on is mobile data collection. So we have this hardware called SenseBox that collects a wide array of different sensory data. This hardware is installed on cars, and as the cars drive around, we get to collect data. And when you compare it to, let's say, stationary sensors, in the case of the noise, you realize that it's much more scalable. You are talking to one SenseBox is equivalent to thousands of stationary sensors. And then when you do a little bit of a math as far as the scalability of the system, it doesn't take too many cars to get to the scale of the country, of the US. So with only 10,000 cars, you get daily data at every urban point. So think about a car drives by your neighborhood today at 10 a.m., tomorrow is 5 p.m., and pretty soon you'll have a complete visibility into the major air quality, environmental, the infrastructure situation in your neighborhood. And so as far as how do we monetize this, obviously, big question for any startup. We have been looking at a lot of possible applications of this data, and the map gets crazier and crazier the more we kind of sit through the problem. You see that there's a lot that can be done with this. And what we have decided is instead of going to the application layer, we just stay at the data layer and become very good data providers in a data as a service model to many people who could use the data, insurance companies, real estate companies, but also people that buy data through now this more modern marketplaces that are happening thanks to the companies like Databricks and Snowflake. And yeah, that's in sense, our mission is big. We want to bring transparency to public places through scalable sensing and software innovations. My name is Sharon Farhadi, and I'll be happy to talk to anyone if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, for our next startup, I would like to introduce Daniel Moradi from Sensoride.
Attending my pitch today, my name is Daniel Moradi, the founder and CEO at Sensoride. Sensoride started to focus on enhancing radars for mobility applications, including drones and automotive. We are based in San Diego, and we are an embedded software company. So the technology we have is basically improving the resolution of the radar. Here, or sorry about that. We have started Sensoride out of Qualcomm, and the primary intention was to leverage from wireless communications and the technology that 4G and 5G basically has gone over the last couple of years, and see how we can improve the accuracy of radar in the radar industry. Radar is not something we have invented, but the idea about improving the resolution or the image quality or the accuracy of the radar is what we are currently focusing on. And this is one of the pictures we took in the first days when we started Sensoride in 2021, showing myself and my co-founder on one of the days doing outdoor testing. But basically, if you are interested to know what Sensoride does, is actually about, I don't know why it's a bit slow. It's about accuracy of radar in terms of object detection using software-defined methods. So we are using advanced signal processing and machine learning to improve the quality of the image. So if you are driving a car having a radar on it, likely the right image is whatever your car sees. And on the left side is our technology for the same radar. So we improve the quality or resolution of the radar with the same sensor, but different approach of processing. Radar signal is very noisy and very dirty signal, but the way we process it is totally different. We have gone through a different path of processing, which includes lots of enhancements in the traditional way of signal processing and machine learning on top of it. So for the same radar, I don't know why it's not playing, but sorry about that. For the same radar, we use different softwares, and our customers are normally those who manufacture radars. So we are not planning to manufacture any radar, any hardware, but we work closely with the customers who are considered as a supplier or tier one, for example, suppliers in the automotive industry. In video. We have worked with many partners and suppliers so far. We have a paying customer from automotive space. Although we are at the very earliest stage, we are targeted by a couple of suppliers in the field of automotive. We have received acquisition offers from one of the global big tier one suppliers in automotive. But there is a huge opportunity, we believe, to scale up in the field and extend the business down the road. So, yeah, that's pretty much about Sorry, this gets messed up. Pretty much about the about Sensoride. If Sensoride resonates with you, just please let me know. Happy to chat, and thank you again for your time, and thank you Plug and Play for inviting Sensoride. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel John. Okay, next we have Hamid Reza with Value Aligners.
Hi everyone, my name is Hamid. Thanks for listening to my pitch deck. I came from New Zealand. I'm in the moving process to come to US. I've been there for 11 years. And my background, I do have a Bachelor of Industrial Engineering from Iran University of Science and Technology, MBA from University of Tehran, and I did my PhD back in University of Auckland in Information Systems. And from work background, I've been doing like project management. Back in Iran, there was a company called Shaparak. If you have been in Iran, if you use card system. Then I was the head of PMO when it's established. When I moved to New Zealand, I was concentrating more on data science. And then after PhD, I was like data scientist, senior data scientist, and I moved to digital transformation side. And a little bit about myself. I do have a multidimensional life background. I do DJing. I've been acting in a movie. And this is our startup. So about this startup, this is in the cybersecurity space. And we are trying to have the pricing tool in this industry. The problem is that the providers, the cybersecurity providers and distributors, they do have issues with pricing. They have a struggle to set the pricing properly. And from the user side, from downstreams, then users, they have issues from integration perspective and writing cybersecurity tool for themselves. And then we are trying to fill up the gap by having this two-sided market approach. So from upstream side, these are the problems that there is information gap, and the companies on that side, they do have issues with distribution of their products. And from downstream side, then users, they have issues to understand which cybersecurity product is the best for the use. And then value aligners will be in between. So we have a data-driven, AI space-driven, like value matrices to understand what is the best functionality and prices from the distribution side, from upstream clients and from downstream clients. We try to understand what is the best security software is good for your business. The industry is that in 2023, we had around $116 billion losses on cybersecurity attacks. And as you know, AI is like growing, and then these attacks are growing at the same time. And there are around 10K cybersecurity providers in US that they provide their services and their products. On the other end, the CAGR for cybersecurity industry is around 12.6%, and its growth rate is very high, and it will be double almost till 2029. On the other side, from pricing industry perspective, the tech CAGR is like 16%, and there are lots of companies in cybersecurity, in pricing space. They are growing up. And from competitor comparison perspective, we do have some competitors in pricing industry, but most of them are in retail, manufacturing, distributors, and e-commerce, because there are lots of SKUs, and then there are lots of needs to do that. But our company will be mainly on cybersecurity. There is one company that it's similar, it's called G2, but they have like the background in providing the cybersecurity tools, and they don't work on the pricing specifically, but Value Aligners is more than pricing tool. We provide the matrices, we provide the criteria, and we try to elaborate the industry by itself. So our success factor, we have a very experienced team. It's 6 of us, and the average years experience is more than 15 years in different categories. We try to vertically integrate it, the like the needs from upstreams to downstreams and in reverse. And then, so these are the teams, and we have a very diverse team. Nick is from US, is from LA, and Chris is from UK. He got more than 27 years experience in IT and cybersecurity space. And the rest of us is like in Auckland, New Zealand, in Melbourne, in Sydney, and in US. About the product, we define 3 packages, which is based on the rules in the cybersecurity. The first role will be like pricing analyst. The second role is pricing manager, and the third role is pricing director. And that's the basis of definition of different packages. And then in different packages, we provide different solutions. And the business model is that Value Aligners is the center of this network of different players. And we provide like our pricing tiers with different prices through different marketing channels. We are approaching B2B and B2C like models, and our partners will be industry leaders, NGOs, distributors, educators, and government. And then for understanding the business for idea validation phase, we talk with different like roles in the industry, and we try to understand the personas of them to be able to target them properly. Some of them, like Robert, is in the upstream side. He's the software develop, like he got the company of software development and he wants to sell the products in the market. The second person is Jessica. Jessica's role is mainly on the distribution side. And then on the downstream side, we do have Griff as a CTO. They want to understand what is the best solution of cybersecurity from integration perspective. And also we do have, yes, and we do have like leads from the end user perspective. We do have different go-to-market strategies. We need to have a 500K financial requirement for the MVP phase, and we do have a positive WCF less than 2 years and ROI in 3 years. And yes, our pricing solution empower providers with data-driven pricing inside and guide customers to find the best fit solutions in the competitive market. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please come and talk to me if you are interested.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we have Puyan from Kiddo Care. Give him a round of applause.
Hi guys, let's make it a little bit more interactive. I guess just pitching and getting information is not just so fun. How many are you here is parent or have kids? Oh, I see. So the point is, I'm not just giving you some information about our back end, but I just wanted to give you the sense of urgency that why we are doing this. So yep. So suppose that you have a kid, and I know that most of you are involving with the part of sentiment or emotion support of that kids. So let's just suppose that that kid let's say in a very bad situation got involved with hospitals. So the point is, most of the kids, when they are involving in hospitalization or being there, just suffering from mental problem or not having so much emotion support there. In that sense, you can see some products which could help them in terms of support, very useful. So in very, let's say, short sentence, I can say that we are working with an angel or some kind of digital companion that could help kids when they are in hospitals and could give them emotion support. let's talk about some data here. So we have around 5.2 million children which are in hospital today in US, and most of them are there for about 4.5 days. And like in, let's say, 500,000 of them is about 5 to 14 years. So the point is, most of them, or over 53% of them, could have some symptoms of depression and anxiety, or both of them, which, let's say, they could suffer from being there more. You have more, let's say, out of pocket when they are there more than needed, and also they need kind of, let's say, average 3,000 costs per night, which is so high. The point is, if you could give them enough emotion support, which right now with the era of AI, we are going, design the system to do it, you can reduce these numbers. So what we are doing is the mental health support. And how? So we are designing an AI-driven gamified application which has the back end of language model for designing a system that could interact with the kids when they are in hospital and give them enough emotion support that could reduce those numbers at the end. So that goal consists of providing companionship or career experience, kind of minimizing the emotion problem or burdens about it, and also redefining the care model. Let's talk about it more. So we are a multimodal interaction platform tailored for interactive entertainment, and I can show you a little bit later on the demo that how it's working. And also the conversation that the companion could provide to the kid is really similar to the one that their parents could give them. So it's kind of going to calm them down at the end. So it's like kind of the login page of our end. You can just log in it there really easily. And it's defined for the kids, actually. So it's kind of easy to use. And in terms of user experience, it's kind of exciting them to have more interaction with it. So you have the mental wellness evaluation at the same time that they are interacting with it. You can kind of see how that emotion score could increase or decrease. And all of those interactions is customized per need of that specific kid. So it could be a game that could be designed for them. It could be kind of conversation, or even kind of both of them. But the main goal is to calm that kid down and have better emotion support. So at the end, it's like kind of the parental real-time dashboard that you have. And here is the language model that we are working with. So it's starting from the audio and interaction for the kids, and kind of companionship with the language model could increase the score at the end with the sentiment score. And at the end, you are entering a market value of 47 billion, which is staying the hospital value market for kids, kind of. So we are starting with the chalk, actually. Right now, we are part of the chalk for data analysis and using it as a demo there and to see how it can work. And we have the kind of revenue stream of subscription basis. Like you can subscribe it or you can buy it for your organization at the end. And we have the phase 1 right now, but we are aiming to have the IRB approval and then FDA and then move forward with the clinical deployment at the end. So here it is me, and I came from student, I raised there. Right now I'm in the neurology department of UCI and the neurology fellowship there and working with the data science and AI. We have Mahkame, who is a nurse, and also Mariam, who is like kind of PhD student with the part of computer science and user experience. And thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Merci, Puyan John. Okay, next we have Kurosh with Injury Sync.
Hey everybody. So my name is Krish, and I'm the founder of InjurySync. So what is InjurySync? InjurySync is an AI-powered coordinated care platform connecting personal injury lawyers and injury doctors. So what does that mean? How many of you have ever been injured in an accident? I'm sure you've seen one of these billboards on the side of the freeway, right? And if you called, you get sent to somebody like Dr. Carter, a chiropractor who works on lean, and she faces a few major issues. For one, she has to write these 10 to 20 plus page medical legal documents for the attorneys and the insurance. On top of that, she's flooded with calls and emails from attorneys asking for all kinds of client information, trying to coordinate that care, or she's going after the attorney asking for information. And she actually doesn't get paid for 1 to 2 years until after the case settles, until after the attorney sorts everything out. So she's in the dark for a while. And the real issue here is there's all this isolated data, not just between this one, chiropractor and this attorney, but between, but between radiologists, orthopedic surgeons, pain management, lean providers, all working with the same client, dealing with these same issues. And lawyers, they like to refer to the same clients over and over again who know the process, who are easy to work with. So you'd like to manage that in these spreadsheets. They also have their own internal systems they use, and they need to take data from those internal systems, share with the doctor. The doctor has his own internal systems, and he needs to share data from that with the lawyer. And there's so much friction, so many back and forth calls and emails here that the attorney has a dedicated case manager just to work with this. So with InjurySync, all parties get access to a shared portal, and they can share updates, send requests between one another. All the relevant files are in one place. They also have AI workflow tools to help with some of the administrative tasks specific to lean work. So we have all these different doctors. We have this attorney. They're all sending requests back and forth between one another, right? But the goal here is we don't want anyone to be sending any requests. We want the doctor's EMR, where he stores his case information, to be connected to the portal. We want the attorney's case management software to be connected to the portal, so everything already exists on the portal. Right. So how did we get here? The last decade has been about taking these yellow files, we used to see them in the cabinets, digitizing them, putting them in the cloud. The next 10 is going to be about how we can get these digital systems to collaborate. Right? Years ago, the biggest personal injury firms, I'm talking about Morgan & Morgan doing $600 million a year. They said, look, we're attorneys. Why are we dealing with this medical stuff? Right? It doesn't make us look good in front of the defense. And they tried to outsource it, but they couldn't because of that. So, our roadmap. Step 1, focus on being a shared portal. Step 2, become a collaborative marketplace. There's over 10,000 zip codes in the US. If an attorney has a client in one of those zip codes, he needs to be able to find multiple medical providers willing to work on lean, willing to not get paid for 2 years to know this process, right? So we want to be able to connect the two, and not just connect them on a surface level, but have their systems be connected. So step 3 is AI-guided care. I've spoken to so many attorneys about this issue, and a big problem that they have is they think, they don't know much about medical care, and they send their client to like a chiro or a pain management doctor, and then 3 months into the case, they say, oh, look, this client might have a TBI, he might have a traumatic brain injury. And at 3 months into care, when you don't pick that up, the case is destroyed. So having AI that can actually optimize patient treatment using that data is really important, right? Okay, so market size. So we have 5 million personal injury cases a year. The average case value is, let's say, 53,000. A third of that goes straight to the attorney. He works on contingency. Roughly a third also adds up to medical bills. If we say 10% goes to lead gen, marketing, the tech, these are the numbers we get. But who cares? The real way I'm going to prove to you how big this market is I want you to go on Google and look up what the most expensive Google ad keywords are. Chances are you're going to see slip and fall, Uber accident, truck accident. So, and the next time you see, Ali Razavi, Jacob Imrani on the freeway, and you're like, I'm sick of seeing this guy. Go online, type in one of those keyboards, and click on his ad. You're going to charge him $900 for that click. Okay, so business model. We want to sell workflow tools specific to the administrative tasks involved with lead work. We want to sell them between $150 and $600 a month, right? Starting out with just those medical legal documents I spoke about. But the real goal here, the bigger market, is connecting the medical providers and the attorneys and charging them monthly for that. Okay, so traction. We have 124 doctors on the wait list. Those are people who agreed to pay monthly for those initial tools. We also have 4 active users that we're working with to build our MVP. We're endorsed by a community, an educational group of 4,000 lean doctors. So they teach them the 16-step process, how to work on lean, and we're using them for distribution purposes. So competitors, we have Doctors on Lean. Doctors on Lean focuses on connecting doctors and lawyers. They're only in California. They put one doctor in each zip code. They charge them between $1,000 to $10,000 a month. And if attorney, typically a newer attorney, he doesn't know anyone who works on Lean, they go to Doctors on Lean. Mighty.com has the aspect of the portal, but they're not focused on connecting lawyers and doctors. They're focused on connecting these third parties. There's a huge industry in financing these cases, fronting the money up front, and they're helping those guys basically monitor the doctors and lawyers with the portal. So I wouldn't be here without my amazing team. We have Alice Tang. She won UCLA's Outstanding Bachelor's of Science. She's basically their valedictorian. She's been featured in Time Magazine for her AI and Alzheimer's research, and she's finishing up her MD PhD at Berkeley and UCSF. We have Richard. He's an ex-Google software engineer. He has a background in computer science. My name is Kurush. Graduated Berkeley at 19. I also have a background in math and computer science. This is my second startup. I scaled my first startup to 16,000 MRR. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you, Kurosh. And for our last startup, we have Mahyar.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Mahyar, and I'm going to introduce Centralife to you. Okay. This is Emily. She's an accomplished researcher at UCI. Recently, she was able to receive a 5-year NIH grant to explore how consistent sleep patterns can influence the overall mood and well-being of each individual. She designed a study with about 200 participants, and to objectively monitor each of these participants' sleep patterns, she decided to use one of the cutting-edge healthcare devices out there named Oura Ring, and also to subjectively assess the current mood of each of these participants. She decided to design a mobile app that sends digital questionnaires out there on a daily basis so they can answer. And also to close the loop, she wanted to have control over a set of these participants to make sure that they are doing the consistent sleep, having the consistent sleep patterns. So she added a digital intervention on top of the mobile app to control those groups. Emily approached many different custom app development companies, and surprisingly, she realized that she should pay at least $200K for development of this app, and also they need about at least a year to develop this application. She wasn't happy about this, and the news is that she is only one of the researchers, one example of the researchers doing this kind of research in the about 13,000 different research institutes and universities out there. So at Centralife, after working for 3 years with many different researchers and also on multiple research studies and running them by ourselves, we identified the core components and features needed to have a successful study run. And so we are introducing our software as a service Centralife Ops Center, which is an all-in-one, easy-to-use solution. And what we are doing here is to reduce the cost of running each types of study researches to less than 10K, and also make creating any kind of studies in less than a weeks. This is not the whole story. Now, Emily was able to run the study and also collect the data over 3 years for all of these participants. Now the question is, okay, how I can analyze them and then get some results and reach to some conclusions. That was there that, again, she realized that she should hire some kind of data scientists out there with at least 80K per year to accomplish this. And also, most of these data scientists are not somehow familiar with healthcare domain, so it adds a lot of more complexity out there. Having our extensive experience in the healthcare and AI recently, we were able to introduce our Centralife Analytica, in which we are introducing a no-code on-demand solution on top of our Centralife Ops to enable the researchers. So you can see some examples of the current developed product that we have right now. And regarding our market sector, we are targeting the behavioral and device-based research studies currently, which based on our research take about $20 billion of the market size, and we are targeting about 1 billion of it. Our business model includes two parts, the subscription part that is for centralized ops and also a custom code-based one for our analytics. You can see our competitors, none of them are providing the AI analytics part, leaving all of these researchers alone at the end of the road. And also many of them are not providing the digital intervention that I have mentioned earlier. Introducing our team, we have Syed, one of the experienced executive in both marketing and software development services. You met Amir at panel. He is a well-known and accomplished researcher at the healthcare domain. And also I myself am an experienced technical executive, worked as an entrepreneur over the past 10 years. We are expecting to have about 2,000 active research projects over the 5 years, and we are estimating about $50 million of revenue out of it, which mostly comes from the analytics in the end. And regarding our current tractions, as Amir also mentioned, this work was first developed as an NSF project under the name of the Zatkir, and we were able to run it over 3 years. And currently we have received the proof of product grant from UCI Bill Applied Innovation to commercialize it, and recently we were selected as top 20% UC Launch Accelerator program. And thank you so much for your attention.
Wow, those were some truly incredible ideas. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us today. That is the end of our event. Please feel free to grab some appetizers. There's still some left, and drinks, and network for the rest of the day. Thank you. Oh, and also we are excited to announce that we will be having these events once a month. So keep a lookout. Follow us on Instagram at Persian Tech Network. Thank you.